Well, hi folks, I think it's about the 11th, 12th of May now, so I'll just give you the regular fortnightly update of the whole place and show you what's going on. Start off in the greenhouse as normal. Got a few chilies potted on now. I'm trying these patchy ones this year, really short, stumpy ones. I grew those under the lights and they were on my windowsill for a bit and then went back under my lights and now they're in here again. But they're supposed to be you only need to grow them in a little, like 6-inch pot max. If you can see, they're like really bushy little things. And I got some normal peppers there, but what I did forget to sow this year were those oxhorn peppers for some reason. I just absolutely forgot about growing those. They're my favourite peppers as well, so God knows why. But anyway, the kale's ready to go out now. It's got about 4 or 5 true leaves, so that can be going out. You remember I sowed some Savoy and some red cabbage and they just didn't fire. They're starting to pick up a little bit, tiny bit, my second sowing, but I think they'll be a bit slow. So what I did, I went and actually bought some plants. I'm not against buying plants if it's too late to sow your own, but looking by the ones there, they might actually catch up with these. So I did buy a few plants, half a dozen of each, Savoys and the red ones. So we'll see which are best, or I might plant them all anyway. So on a few more lettuces, but these are odd. These are a variety called Saladin. They're an iceberg lettuce, but look at the shape of them. They're just like really distorted, twisted. Now I hope to God I haven't got that blooming stuff in the compost again. But it's all the same compost this year, so that's the only thing that maybe looks a little bit iffy. Because nothing else is iffy at all. All my other lettuces and stuff were fantastic that I planted out, but that just looks dead strange. So whether it's a rogue bag, I just hope not. Second sowing of the lettuce again, because I've planted them outside now, so some more Little Gem and multigreen. Ran out of packets of my old packet, sowed some more of a new packet that are brand new this year and they've not fired. So I think a letter will be going to the company because I've tried it twice now and they're still not firing, so I must have been sold a duff packet. Got to do it. If you do get a duff packet and you know it's not your fault because they're only, it says so by 2 years in advance, like 2018 like mine do, then it's not your fault that they're not germinating, it's the bloody them selling you crap, innit? So get onto them and they will probably send you more than you want, so I will be doing that. Some more giant spuds here. I'm going to find a couple of pots and grow those in the Polytunnel, and then I'll be absolutely full of sick to death of spuds in there. The potatoes in pots, I've taken 2 lots now, but they're still growing really well. Don't know what this is on the leaves, probably just a bit of sun scorch because it's been that hot. It looks a bit strange, but it doesn't matter. Spuds will still be right for eating. So I've still got 4 bags of those. Judging by the bulges, you can see the bulges when they're growing in bags. Some of them are getting a bit too big really. But they've been really quick this year, so I can't complain about those. The giant onion I put to seed, one of them. Getting some good, it's on the floor now, and that's chest height, so that's 5 foot tall now. Get some seed heads, which should be opening soon. And then we'll let the old bees pollinate those and we should have some giant seeds. Planted my tomatoes out. These are the bush variety, little dwarf ones. I've only planted them in 10-litre pots. That's plenty enough for those, I think. So I've got one with a tomato one now actually already, so that's quite encouraging. Giant runner beans, planted those a while back. They're all germinating now. So I should be planting those out hopefully at the end of May, or when any frost risks past, and hope we just don't get any frost that nip them off. French beans, sown those, they can actually be planted out now at that stage, and I'll put those in the next couple of days in the Polytunnel because everything's set up there now just to plant stuff out. Tomatoes, like I said, planted them all out now. I haven't grown that many this year. They looked a bit, if you remember, I've left them out and they got a bit of a frost damage, but it's all grown out now, all the fresh growth's really healthy looking. And then where's some more of these cherry tomatoes. I did spot a tomato one before when I came in. I don't know where it is. I'm not going to spend all day trying to find it. But I've got 1 tomato. So, oh, there it is. There we are. The first tomato of the year, look. Not even the middle of May. First tomato. Absolutely. It's so vigorous, these plants, and so quick. So that's the final onion in a pot for seed. So I'll just have a look at the grow room now. I'll show you what's in there. There's a few bits and pieces like the marrows and stuff, and then we'll nip up to the plot and see what's going on. I'll just have a quick look in the grow, under the grow light. As you can see, I've only got 2 little grow lights now because my massive one broke all the sort of starter motors and it blew up, so I'm limited to these. Anyway, what we've got in here, giant marrows, sprouted now. I've got 3, another one there, so I'll let those grow on for maybe a week, 2 weeks tops, and then they should be ready to go out. I've pricked out my giant tomatoes there, just starting to put the first true leaves on. And then what else have we got? Courgettes, on a few courgettes, they're just coming up now. And at the back there we've got a couple of cucumbers still growing on. I'll plant those out maybe a week or so. But anyway, not got a lot growing under here now, but it's done its job anyway. It's been a bit tricky because, like I say, I've not got a lot of room. I'll have to try and get another one of those long ones, big 4-foot ones, because it makes it so much easier. Well, hi folks, up at the plot. As you can see, it's a bit dull and overcast. They promised rain today and yesterday, but it's not put any down at all. It's put about 1/10 of a millimetre down, and I'm really suffering now. Even the grass around the edges of my plots sort of shriveled up, and I'm in real need of water. But anyway, not a lot I can do about that. I'll just give you a quick look round. These are the peas, taking really well now. They could do with water, like I said, because peas do like a lot of water, but they're growing, they're really bushy now, looking really healthy. They actually did get a little touch of frost when I first planted them out, but didn't do them any harm. These are the leeks I planted 2 days ago. They've all taken well now, if you can see, they're all stood up straight. I planted them and then it was a really hot day yesterday, so I thought they might get a bit sort of burnt off in the sun until the roots got down, but absolutely fine, no worries at all. Planted my first lettuces out, about 6 of each outside. Got some more in the polytunnel. I planted all my banana shallots out as well. Again, to do with some rain. They're not very big, but they're big enough. Once they start rooting, they'll take off. So I've got 3 rows of those in. It's probably quite hard to see. People are saying, what's all this white stuff on your soil? Well, what it is, last year I put all my compost that I grew my onions in on the soil, and I had a lot of perlite in. And as the sort of compost sunk into the soil, the perlite sort of floated to the top. So it does look a bit strange, and when the sun comes out it's quite blinding really. Everything doing okay. I could do with a little bit of a weeding, as you can see. Onions, very slow as usual because we've not had any rain. I've had the really lovely weather, but really need some rain just to get stuff perked up. Garlic, looking a little bit yellow. It always does when it gets a bit cold, and again lacking rain, but once it gets a good rain, gets a bit of nitrogen down from the fertiliser, it'll green up and it should start growing. So that's my main bed, just about fully planted out now, although you can't really tell, but should be alright in a couple of weeks when it starts growing and we get a bit of rain to bring things on a bit. So the potatoes in the pots are just getting the first shoots emerging now, as you can see, just poking through. So it's not too bad because we're out of the frost now, I think. Well, there's no forecast for a couple of weeks and then we're nearly into June, so it should be quite safe to just leave these, but they have been a bit slow to start poking through because it has been cold at night, but nice and warm during the day. But anyway, we're off and running. So these are the sarpos, and then a few early ones over there. The old rhubarb's flying along this year, best I've ever had, so can't complain with that. And even though it's not had any rain, which will make it grow even faster, when we get a good downpour it should give it a good old spurt on. These are the little poxy little gooseberry bushes. I don't know even whether they've got any flowers on, let alone any gooseberries. I think we're getting the odd little flower on, so we'll probably get about a handful of gooseberries of each one. But they'll take a couple of years to get established and grow. Then we should start getting a few more spuds in pots. They're starting to come through as well. They're the first earlies, Nicola or Charlotte, the same as I'm growing in the polytunnel. So once those are finished, sorry, the ones I'm growing in the greenhouse in pots that have been eaten. So once they're finished, these should be about ready, I think. This is another giant bean part. It's me sort of, I call it my nature bit here. Well, basically I just leave it. It's full of perennials and a lot of weeds and stuff. But I just let this bit go a bit wild. And if I show you, the blackbird's just flown off. I've got a nest full of blackbird chicks. I'm hoping they're still in. They've been growing really quickly. I won't disturb them too much. I'll try and get in and film them for you. Try and zoom in. You see them there? My little nested shit. That was only an egg about 8 days ago. So I won't disturb them. Every time I come up, blackbird flies off. So I don't stop up too long. As soon as I go in the polytunnel, it comes back. So bit of a tip round here. I'm just having a bit of a tidy up. I just need to throw it all away. But it's mostly tidy now. Right, next bit. Second lot of peas sowed. Bit patchy. Something's had a right go at those. Don't know what's been eating those. Anyway, I don't know. It's the world's worst pea frame as well. I've just knocked it together. It'll probably blow away, but it doesn't matter. This is the marrow patch. I've actually had my rotavator up for once. I had a little electric tiller, only a little sort of cheap and nasty one, but I managed to take my little generator up as well and tilled it because it was so dry. I've never been able to do it, so I've tilled the soil down, and I've never had it as good as this in my life. It's like proper fluffy stuff now, about a foot deep. So if I don't get a decent marrow out of that, I never will, because it's the best the soil's ever been. There's loads of muck been rotavated in now, and it's all good deep stuff. All been done now, all prepared, all fertilised, just ready for the marrows to go in. That's my second giant bean trench there. Same again, tons of muck gone in. We'll see how we get on with those. Cabbage will go in here. I've rotavated this as well, so that's nice and fine now. So, should get plenty of cabbages in there. Spring onions in clumps. I planted some out here. Planted some in the greenhouse. Again, they could do with a watering in. But there's about 30 clumps there, each with about 6 or 7 in, so there's probably a good 200 spring onions once they start growing. And these are the second onions. In the other bit, this could do with a bit of a weeding, but these seem a bit more advanced than the others. Don't know why that is. This is the soil I actually did dig over, so maybe digging stuff over is better than the no-dig method, but we'll see at the end. You know, we don't know what's going to happen until they're fully grown. But like I said, just need a bit of a weeding. Need it to be a bit warm at night, and I'll come up here and it'll only take me half an hour just to tidy it all up. I've got a few bluebells coming out now. I do try and grow things, but because I'm surrounded by fields that are actually full of nettles and thistles, they just creep under the walls, so there's no way of sort of weeding out the nettles. So I've got big loads of poppies coming there, look. And some iris there. Look, there's sticky buds and there's nettles, there's all sorts of stuff. That's the trouble. You just can't. There's no way of weeding them out, these perennial weeds, and I can't spray them a weed killer because I'll kill all the decent stuff. But even the weeds attract nice stuff. You get butterflies and moths and fancy things, so I don't mind it. It looks a bit more natural. Some people hate weeds, but I don't mind them in the right situation. I don't like them on my veg beds, but in a certain place they're not too bad. So we're just going to Polytunnel now. I've got a bit of stuff planted. Just been preparing all the soil really for the stuff in the greenhouse to go in a week or two. So I've just been doing all my soil, fertilising it, wetting it down, just keeping it covered so everything's just good to go in there. This is where the French beans are going to be going. Up the canes there, the cobras. So I planted some of my spare lettuce in there. So they should fly on. They'll probably be ready in about 2 or 3 weeks with the heat in here. And a few more little clumps of spring onions and stuff. The show carrots, doing okay. Still got one misfire there, look. I've planted some more seeds, but it's not even sprouted again, but they're looking okay at the moment. They're the sweet candle. Again, could do with a little bit of weeding every now and again. Just need a good evening at it, but so far so good. Likewise, the long ones, they're okay. They're all up now. The reason I've got all these weeds is because I took all my sand outside one year to try and wash all the old fertiliser out, and something must have seeded on it. So every time I use the sand now, it's just millions of seeds pop through. So I should really put about an inch of fresh sand on top to sort of stop them germinating. But hindsight's a great thing. Again, another bed there just covered up. That's where the tomatoes are going to go. And these are the giant spuds that I planted out. looking alright. We've had some cracking temperatures. As you can see, 41 degrees. But they're looking alright, they're not shriveled up at all, they're looking very green and healthy. So we'll just see what lurks beneath in about 4 or 5 months' time. And then the marrow bed, I've got this all prepared now, all fertilised and stuff. It's just a matter of rolling it all back, and then I'll plant it out in probably a couple of weeks, because it won't be too long until they're ready to plant out. So that's about it, folks, I think. Finally got a bed planted out, the main bed, nearly sort of totally planted out, if you will, now. So, not too bad. We just need some rain, because my water butts are absolutely empty now, that's all I've got. And I've no mains water up here, so I'm a bit stuck. It's looking like it could rain, but it just never seems to do. Anyway, that's about it, folks. Fortnightly roundup again. See you later.